Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about the Halo TV show because a few weeks ago we got our first formal announcement and press release for it since it was announced way back in 2013, so it seems now it's sort of getting into gear and it's actually starting to happen. And honestly, this show I genuinely believe could be massive for Halo as a franchise in so many different ways, so let's start off with some of the details. The show starts production in early 2019 and is being made for the network Showtime. Kyle Killen is the executive producer, writer and showrunner for the show, and Rupert Wyatt will serve as the executive producer and also the director for some of the episodes. Showtime greenlit one season so far, which is perfectly normal, a pilot season, and the season is going to consist of 10 one-hour-long episodes, much like another very popular show that I happen to be a very big fan of. Now, Steven Spielberg is still involved with the show, it's just not as much or in the way that we originally thought. His production company, Amblin Television, will be working with Killen and Wyatt on the show, but here's to hoping that Spielberg still has some direct hand in it, maybe. In 2013, one of the Microsoft executives that was previously attached to the show, Nancy Tellem, said that the budget and production quality will match that of Game of Thrones. Now, not only is this great news considering the newest season of Game of Thrones at the time, Season 3, had a budget of $50 million for the entire season, but we can also start to see a pattern emerging, a very exciting pattern. Sadly, we don't have any details on the cast or the characters or the settings or the story yet, but we do have something that's almost as exciting. This show is being set up as Showtime's counter to HBO's Game of Thrones. Now, I don't think I need to go into much detail explaining why this is so big, but I'm going to anyway because, man, this is going to be fucking huge. So, in recent years, it's no myth that Halo's sort of cultural relevance has dropped and its sort of general popularity definitely isn't what it used to be during Halo 3, for example. This isn't a myth, it's what the community has spent the last 5 years debating and talking about, and we can already see 343 acting on what the community believes would be many ways to fix this and help Halo get back up on top. Now, yeah, changing the gameplay and giving the game a more classic art style and making the story revolve around Chief more will definitely go a long way to helping Halo get back up to its throne, but nothing would compare to a high-budget, high-quality, internationally popular cultural phenomenon of a show like Game of Thrones, and considering Showtime are shaping the Halo show up to be their version of exactly that, it's totally within the realms of possibility. This isn't just a pipe dream. It's also pretty damn clear that they're following the trend of most modern, hyper-popular shows too, like Game of Thrones and like Stranger Things and Westworld, with 10 episodes per season, all 1 hour long, with a pretty damn high budget. Now, from what little we know so far, we can see exactly the type of show that Showtime are trying to create, and if they manage to pull it off, then it will do wonders for the Halo franchise in every way possible. Now, to put it into perspective just how much of an effect this could have on Halo, let me ask you something. How many copies of A Game of Thrones, the novel, do you think were sold after Season 1 of Game of Thrones was announced and was just about to come out? How many? Well, I can kind of tell you. So 5 days before the premiere of Season 1, Episode 1 in 2011, the first book shot to number 2 in the Amazon bestseller chart in the UK, with 3 more of the books in the top 10, and the book collection was the only fiction in the US Amazon top sellers list. At this point, these books were 15 years old, up to 15 years old, and they were still pulling this off. Now, imagine if Showtime are successful in turning their Halo show into their direct counter to Game of Thrones, and it becomes as internationally popular as Thrones. Could you imagine the increase in sales and interest and popularity that Halo would receive? The thought of all of the good this could do the Halo franchise just absolutely blows my mind, and the potential for it actually happening gets me so damn excited. Another factor that will absolutely play into this will be what the show is actually about. Now, I could sit here and talk for fucking hours on end about what I'd like the show to be about and what characters I'd like to be in it and what stories I'd like it to follow, but in my opinion, one of the most important things is that the show needs to be a grounded, realistic sci-fi if it wants to even get close to the heights of Game of Thrones, and it can't expect the audience to have already played Halo and know everything about the characters and the settings and the stories to understand it. It needs to be welcoming to new fans, but at the same time it needs to have quite a few sort of like subtle nods and references to people that know a lot about Halo, like us, that know a lot about the lore and the stories and that have played Halo before. One of the most important things is that it needs to feature some of the most iconic aspects of the Halo universe, the things that anybody who, even if they've just played one Halo game, or maybe even haven't played Halo at all, can look at and know immediately, like, yeah, that's Halo. Like, for example, the Covenant, the Flood, ODSTs, and most importantly, the Spartans, but only in some capacity. I still think the perfect show, the absolute perfect Halo TV show, would be a Band of Brothers-esque story that follows a platoon of ODSTs fighting during the Human Covenant War against the Covenant, and then ultimately as well against the Flood, with Spartans only showing up maybe like once or twice to really portray how rare and special they were during the war. If they did this, they could have a super gritty, visceral show that follows soldiers who are elite soldiers, but at the same time, they're vulnerable, unlike Spartans. They don't seem invincible, they can't just plow through hordes of Covenant. They have to be methodical, and they have to take their time with battles. And then ultimately, because of this, the Covenant could be legitimately intimidating with every encounter, because no encounter for the ODSTs is ever easy, unlike if it followed a Spartan, where most encounters, the Spartan is going to come out on top pretty unscathed. By following a more grounded and realistic cast of ODSTs, they could also nail the horror beat as well with the reveal of the Flood, however they choose to do it. Like, imagine a reveal like Halo 2's, for example, but replace the elites for ODSTs, in a dark, dimly lit foreigner facility, with Flood coming down from the ceiling and coming out of the walls surrounding them, and they've got no idea what they are. This could be done so well on the small screen with a good director and good acting, and just the thought of it alone gets me so excited. It gets me so excited. And also, because we're following weaker soldiers in ODSTs, they could also nail the feeling of desperation and the feeling of being up against the wall, and then ultimately the feeling of relief when a Spartan shows up at the last minute to save the squad, resulting in a truly epic, unforgettable moment, something that Halo is world renowned for. Now, I want you to tell me with a straight face that that idea doesn't sound like the absolute perfect Halo TV show. Although, I guess you could make the show even more perfect by signing Tom Hardy as the lead ODST and then maybe having Neil Blomkamp direct a few episodes here and there as well. And if you do that, then you'll be making me the happiest man on planet Earth for the rest of his life. I want to give a big thank you to Ardent, Tomahawk, Taylor, Evan, Locust, Momo, Shikata, Foxy, Mjolnir, Matthew, Pierre, Manu, Jack Madden, Stefan Curcic, Eric Brown, Sam Grafton, Regan Sink, and Bruin98 for the continued support over on Patreon. Thank you very much. Have you got any thoughts on the Halo TV show, or any ideas like which characters that you'd like to see, or maybe which settings or stories you'd like it to cover? Leave them in the comments and get a discussion going. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.